Hi, Mary here, and today I am going to introduce you to my writing prompts generator for people who aren't in seventh grade. I am really excited to share this with you. This has been really useful to the students in my course, and so I wanted to bring it to you, everybody, so that you can benefit from it as well. I came up with this because I recently have been asked often for writing prompts from people. And for a while when this would happen, I would just kind of freeze up because I've never really used writing prompts myself. When I would think of writing prompts, what I would picture is like myself working on some essay about I don't know, something in my life history, or a short story, or a novel about a girl in college. And then a writing prompt would pop up that's like, a goblin just delivered a mysterious package on your doorstep. What's inside? I don't write about goblins and their creepy deliveries. That's not helpful to me. So when I would think of writing prompts, I would think like, okay, I need my writing prompt to age like 20 years and go to college and then maybe get back to me. So I just basically resigned myself to being someone who didn't use writing prompts. But then when I became a writing teacher, my students started asking for writing prompts when stuck. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure something out because I want to be helpful. And there has to be a way to do this in a way that's, relevant to what people are working on. So this is where the writing prompts generator for people who aren't in seventh grade comes in. And here's how it works. Okay. So let's say you're working on a project and you get to a particular scene and you feel uninspired. You're just kind of blocked. You don't know what to do. This is the moment where a good writing prompt would be helpful, not one with a goblin, but one that's relevant to what you're working on. And let's suppose you're writing a wedding scene. Okay, that's going to be our example. You're writing a wedding scene, but when you sit down to write, all I can think about is like, I don't know, two people walk down an aisle and they say the lines everybody says, blah. Like it just feels like all you can think about are the basic facts, and you need to be able to be more creative, of course. So the first step for this generator, the first thing you're going to want to do is to find another person or people. It's a very existential step, this one. You need to find another human on the planet. Okay. So your brain is going to need another person's brain to chime in. This doesn't need to be a fellow writer or writers. It can be your mom, your dad, your brother, your neighbor, your roommate, your ex-boyfriend, your acquaintances on Facebook who you haven't spoken to since eighth grade. It doesn't matter. Reach out and you are going to ask this person the question. Okay. The question is this: when you think of blank, what do you think of? When you think of blank, what do you think of? Now, what goes in that blank? What goes in that blank is just the very simplest way you can think of expressing your scene idea, the scene you are working on. What if you don't know what your scene idea is? Well, you need to pick one. That part is on you. That's the part that makes this generator useful, specific enough to be useful to you. So you need to do that, and then you can come back to the generator. Okay. So in this example situation, the question would be, when you think of a wedding, what do you think of? And we did this in my writing course community. When you think of a wedding, what do you think of? And here's what people came up with. They said, did they write their own vows? Are there any quirky traditions? What does it smell like? Like, is it outdoors and are people sweaty or heavily perfumed? What is the location? Is it in a cathedral or outside in a tent or something? What song does the couple dance to? Any cuckoo guests? How are the guests seated? Is it like, I don't know, bride on one side, groom on the other? What's the attire? Let's see if there are any more. Band or DJ? Any good covers? So as you can see, like if you were really stuck in your wedding scene and someone gave you this list, I mean, there were more, I just couldn't fit them on the screen here. But if someone gave you a list of these ideas, you have a lot to work with here. You have a whole lot more to work with than what you started with. All right. So the next step is going to be to jot down as people share with you, or the person shares with you their thoughts, like let them go on, encourage them to explore, to tell you more things that they think of and picture, to more questions that your scene raises for them. And you can riff on this, like come up with your, go back and forth. What does it make you think of? And as you do this, you're going to come up with some cool stuff, I promise. So here's another example of one we did in our group. Someone said, when you think of an outdoor festival near a lake, what do you think of? And here's what we came up with. How's the weather? Is it what people expected when they were coming to the festival? Are there any vendors? Are there canoes on the lake? Is there a special costume people wear, like at Oktoberfest? I really liked that one. I think they're called dirndls at Oktoberfest. Are there any dinky rides? Sometimes in these small town festivals, there will be some kind of very rickety, precarious looking ride in quotation marks. Is it heavily or sparsely attended? Is there any food being served? Is it good or bad food? What's the parking situation? I loved that. Is it free or paid? And then someone jokingly said, are there 11-year-olds valeting? So as you can see, another just example of the fun things that you can come up with when you do this exercise with people. And then step 4 is just to repeat this, like do it whenever you're stuck. There's no reason to waste time staring at a blank page, not being sure what to write, when all you have to do is ask people to help you out. I find that people are more than happy to participate in this activity. And in fact, they seem to find it really fun, even people who are not writers. Okay. Now, if you are super, super shy or on Mars and you don't want to ask anyone, you can do this yourself. I would set your draft aside. I would get a fresh notebook out so it feels different, and it needs to feel free and different, and just write your question at the top of the page and then brainstorm yourself. It can totally work this way as a solo exercise. I think it's a lot less fun, and actually ends up being more work than picking other people's brains, but it will suffice. What I love so much about this writing prompts generator is that it adds this collaborative social element to book writing. And those moments are so few and far between in the world of book writing, right? Like it's such a solo practice. Usually we're by ourselves and we're only working with others once we're soliciting or receiving or giving feedback. And those moments tend to be they can be kind of tough, or at least pretty tender, because critique is involved. This exercise has no critique involved. It is the opposite of tender. It is the opposite of hard. It's just fun and low stakes and generative. It's creative and playful, and can be even joyful. So have a good time with the writing prompts generator. Think of it as like a game with others, and a time when you actually get to be social with while being totally free of judgment and self-judgment and self-criticism. So have a good time. And I would love to hear, if you do end up using it, how it goes. Happy writing.